have been on YouTube. Um, we've been missing, but we haven't forgotten about any of you. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening to uh, kind of spend some time with myself and Liz as we discuss the topic, girl. I don't know what to do next. Now, listen, we're also live on Facebook. So, shout out to all of our Facebook viewers. But we are back in business, just extremely busy, always busy. I'm sure you guys know that the Women's Empowerment Conference in Detroit, Michigan is August the 12th. Check out Eventbrite. We are there. Tickets are live, tickets are being sold, and I am so super excited. This evening, we have with us Empress Liz, health crusader, herbalist. You guys already know who she is, but she's back in the building with us tonight as we discuss, girl, I don't know what to do next. Um, so we got a ton of questions in, and so we're going to kind of answer those questions this evening as well as expand on the comment, girl, I don't know what to do next. Um, a viewer by the name of Cindy. What's up, Cindy? And Cindy's from Chicago. Shout out to everyone in Chicago. Cindy wants to know, how do I become unstuck? How do I get myself out of the rut that I'm in? How do I move forward? Empress, do you want to jump on first and then I'll go after you?
And I would first like to thank you all. I'm my super podcast viewer, the support, and I salute you all as always with honorable words of grace, mercy, and love. And I have to just say, Cindy, I give you applause and accolades for even realizing you're stuck. That's the first step to becoming unstuck. A
Yep.
lot of times we don't realize when we are stuck or caught in a rut with anything, whether it be home disciplines or work, health, whatever. It by virtue of the fact that you acknowledge that you are in a rut, that is the first step forward. But again, it's not easy to become unstuck. Now, a lot of us, like I know when we have, uh, you know, people write in and they answer
Empress, speak.
questions.
Yeah, speak a little louder or in your mic because you're breaking up.
Oh, okay. I don't want to break up, but
Okay.
hopefully you got most of what I was saying. But again, the first step is again, once you acknowledge that you are caught in whatever rut it is, you have to first sit and, as I always say, just sit with yourself because you have to figure out what it is or acknowledge what is really going on with you in real time. You have to assess your situation. And let me tell you, I'm kind of going through a similar situation right now in terms of contemplating whether or not to uproot and start over again, or not to say stay in a rut, but just kind of stay in a comfort zone. So change is never easy. It's usually never really comfortable. But again, you have to set small, achievable goals. You have to really not beat yourself up if you find yourself kind of going back to maybe an old habit or an old mindset. But as the Meadow Queen always says, healing starts in the mind. So that applies to any type of healing, whether it be physical, emotional, mental, that sort of thing. So that's what
Excellent. 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 Cindy, I would have to say you have to plant the seeds of expectation. One, you have to plant the seeds of expectation. Two, every day you need to do something that is going to bring you closer to your end result, whatever that may be. Maybe you want to be a nurse because we need nurses.
that
Maybe
is.
we need nurses. Maybe you want to be a chef. Maybe you want to be a school teacher. Maybe you want to be on Broadway. Whatever it is, you need to get up every day and do something that is going to lead you to your end result. Three. So you guys know that I need to have my notes because otherwise I'll start talking about stuff that is completely different from what I need to speak on. Three, you need to put your pride aside. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to ask for help Find a mentor, find an accountability partner, put your pride aside, find people who are doing what you want to do, and seek guidance from them. Four, no matter how small or large the achievement is towards your goal, celebrate yourself because that's really important. Because every small achievement will become, once you take all those small achievements and put them together, it's exactly what you want. You need to ensure that you organize and strategize because that's huge for me. Now, let me just give you a little insight. I am not good with delegation at all. It is very difficult for me to delegate. I can do it, but because in my mind I know what I want to see, it's just easier for me to get it done because I know how I want something to represent me. When we bring in other people to assist us, that's great because we need the help, but it's your thought, it's your dream, it's your passion. No one will be able to execute that the way that you can execute that. So, being organized and strategizing is huge. Also, six, find time for yourself. You have to refresh. Unfortunately, you can't work from sun up to sundown. We can't do it. You will burn yourself out. Find a space to sit with yourself, as Sister Liz would say, and kind of regroup because once you pick up where you left off, you'll be refreshed. And then definitely you'll be able to move full speed ahead. So I hope that that gives you a little bit of insight of on how not to be stuck, not to be discouraged. Know that you have to have a plan. There are lots of people in this world who may not be exactly where they want to be, but you're not going to bring about change just talking about it. We speak about this stuff all the time. If you want to see something different in your life, you have to do something that you've never done. Period. Doesn't have to be something that it is that's going to change the world overnight, but you have to have an idea of what you want to do. And every day you wake up, you want to seek out uh, moving full speed ahead and trying to accomplish something that will lead you to your end result. And once again, there's tons of people that will help you look for a mentor, an accountability partner. If you have a significant other in your life and you shared your dream and they're like, oh, phooey, I don't see you doing that. Oh, phooey. Just,
Not say fooey.
well, I want to say other things, but I'm not.
Right.
Just be a mom. That's enough. Just be a mom or just work your regular 9 to 5 job. I know you hate it, but we have bills to pay. If that is the type of situation you're in, then you definitely want to seek people who will encourage you, who will motivate you, who will guide you and lead you in the direction that you need to be led so that once again you can move full speed ahead. It's unfortunate when you have someone within your circumference who doesn't believe in you, who beats you up because you just don't want to follow what the other 25 people in your community are doing. You have to make a decision that you are going to, no matter what, you are going to pick up the pieces wherever you're at, and you want to create a foundation so that as you continue to move forward, it's only leading you in the right direction.
Absolutely.
That was a
Absolutely.
lot. That was a lot. But
But it
Cindy,
was, it was very strategized. You did
yeah,
offer structural suggestions, but I'm thinking about, and I can hear almost some of the listeners that are like, listen, I can't get a moment's peace in the bathroom, let alone sit with myself
yeah,
anywhere else. So, how do I find that time? That was me when my children were younger. You have to make the most out of even the smallest pockets of time. I remember when I first started like really studying yoga and practicing yoga. Um, One of the things that I learned is that you can be in a crowded space and
yeah,
still centered. So you have to make sure that you are even the smallest pockets of time. If that's when you're commuting, if that's when you're having a quiet moment
yeah,
um, for lunch or a meal or something like that. Because again, oftentimes we fool ourselves into thinking that we're too busy to take a moment. But the thing is that if we were to transition from this physical body, the reality is that everything will continue to move and continue to happen without you. So, I mean, it's almost
Absolutely.
so, and life threatening that we don't make sure that we can take time, even if it's the smallest pockets of time, because it's not always the quantity of it. Oftentimes we think of, oh, we need to go on a vacation. Yeah, those things are super important. They're memorable. Yes, those are things that are super important as well. But if that's not your reality right now, and you are dealing with life like all of us are,
Yes,
you
we are.
have to find and create pockets of time that will help you recharge yourself.
Cindy, also buy yourself some binders or
Mhm.
notebooks, okay? Because I have a ton of them. This is just one, okay? This is one of my newer ones, and this is for my women's empowerment conference, okay? And I just want to show you something that I've done because I'm all about scrapbooking. And shout out to my students that I'm going to see on the 18th for our vision board class.
Yes.
So
Oh, that's
this is
awesome.
me, okay? If you know me, you know that I like art, and
Yeah,
everywhere I go, there's some form of, okay. So this
creativity
is
and
Yeah, and so this is in this particular binder, Women's Empowerment Conference, August the 12th, Detroit, Michigan. Black women supporting Black women, supporting Black women. But we're here to support any type of woman. It really doesn't matter. But I saw that and I loved it. And so that is my collage in my,
well,
okay. And this is solely for the projects that I have, big projects that I have planned for this year. Okay, so this is for this year. I'm sure that I'll have three more, but I'm just starting out with this one for now. It's very important for me to stay organized. I have to, because otherwise my mind goes 50 places at one time, and
you know,
I can't get anything accomplished that way. But I know that about myself. And so I'm
that's
just being honest.
very
Appreciate the honesty. Um, we also got another question in, and the question that just kind of came in. I know I sent you some questions earlier, but we still have some stuff coming in. One of the viewers, and her name is Pamela, and she's from Cincinnati. She wanted to, hey Pam, she wanted to know if when you had your babies and they were younger, was it really difficult for you? Because she said that she's heard you speak about raising your children. But how difficult was that experience? Because, hold on, it's a lot. I'm sorry. She said that lots of times you will meet women who only tell you the good side of motherhood, but they don't necessarily share their struggles. And she said that right now she's dealing with a significant other who really doesn't want to help pull his weight. The cost of food is astronomical. She just doesn't know how to manage. I think she said she had four children. It's three or four. I'm sorry, Pam girl. Um, but she's not sure what to do next. So can you elaborate on that?
First of all, I do want to acknowledge, hey Pam from Cincinnati, in yeah. I want to just say that it was a lot. I did have a lot of support, and when I do talk about raising my children, I talk about it from a place of multitasking, place of having to still have my identity, me, and use those gifts and said identity to help take care of my family. Now, um, may his soul rest in peace. My significant other that fathered my children was a traveling musician, so he was gone a lot of the time. At certain points of our relationship. So there were times that I had them and deal with them on the day to day, getting them ready for school, that sort of thing. But again, I had a very good support system, from my family. And then when he was home, he would do his portion. It wasn't like wasn't doing anything. But again, it was rough. It was rough juggling living an ITAL life, which most people will say vegetarian, but we lived that ITAL lifestyle, raising children at a time where it wasn't so much understood with adults, let alone adults raising children that way. And I'm talking about, like the early 90s. That's when I began having my children. We, had certain practices that were not very popular. I had to end up sending my children to public school, no disrespect. I had to do that, public schools and charter schools, because I felt like I wanted to be a part of that experience as well. And even though I had a full-time job, I, several other side hustles, streams of income. I often talk about, being back in vocal festivals, singing demos, vending in Prospect Park, my naturally scented shea butters and my handmade incense. Doing the radio show with the Meadow Queen. You know, I got a salary from that. She paid me to be a host, a co-host on that radio show. So I did all of that while raising my children. So yeah, it was rough. But I think the most important thing that I, I would think about is that, I would think of my grandmother a lot. My father's mother had 13 children. She worked inside the house, outside the house. She was married, but the primary responsibilities of the household obviously fell on her. At one point in her life, when my dad was 8, she was burned on her body by a kerosene stove. She was in the hospital for 2 years and still had 3 additional children. And I never heard that woman complain. God rest her soul. So I always thought about her. Funny enough, that we're talking about that was the thing that just like, this is easy compared to what she had to endure. I always had gainful employment. Thankfully, and again, was able to use my creative gifts to, help raise my family. And in those arenas, I was able to bring my children. Sometimes I have a studio, they'd have their little cowbells and little conga drums and stuff. At one point, my now almost 30-year-old, when he was 11, he did percussion for one of the bands that I played with. So it was always a thing of trying to incorporate my children into things that I could. I always had the mentality that they came into my
Right.
world. I didn't come into theirs. So
Yeah.
with that in mind, I didn't allow them to control the cipher. That's the biggest thing I can say to parents. I mean, that's not to say I didn't, wasn't up all night with babies and things like that. But I think I embraced my motherhood in a way like they came into this world and this is how we do things. I'm not a traditional person in
Yeah.
certain aspects. So that's kind of how I did it. I don't know. I just embraced motherhood in a different way. I look forward to it. It was, like I said, it wasn't always easy. It's easy flowing from my life, but it was tough. Moving around a lot. Trying to stay in decent neighborhoods. And then when they got older, it got even more challenging because they were able to move around a little more. They were at the age where, okay, I want to eat beef now with that burger from the chicken shack kind of thing. So, we went through those kind of things. But, I never really, I don't know, I never really looked at it as a, uh, I don't know, it's just, it's hard to say, but yeah, it was tough, but I don't know, it was rewarding. Maybe looking back at it seems to be more tough than it may have felt in real time. That makes sense.
No, it
You
makes
know,
a lot of sense because even in real time, you would never know if it was tough for you because it
I was
didn't look that way.
I
Because you didn't really have time to sit around
had
and
I had five. I had at that time. They're all legally adults, even though they still, I'm sure, to some measure, depend on me. But
yeah.
I had 5 pieces of my heart running around on this planet that was responsible. That every move I made affected them. Every move. I made would affect them in that way. So, I was trying to raise very consciously free, God-centered human beings. I hope that if nothing else, that I get that out of it, the human
Well, you
beings.
did a good job. You did a good job because during in the younger years, you never made it look tough. And I know that it was difficult. I know that because you had a bunch of little people running to the
Running
right, to the left, to the right, to the left.
running around with natty dreadlocks. We don't drink cow milk because they had to
Right,
tell me to
right.
go
But you
get
never made it. You never
it.
made it look difficult because it was just the flow of life, and you had to get things done, and so you got it done. So I salute you. I salute you. Definitely, I salute you. Um,
Trenches with me on several occasions.
because it takes a village to raise children, and so it was. I knew that when I met you, you were progressive and you wanted to get things done, and you saw a bigger picture for yourself. And so if I could babysit your son while you went to your next job, why would I not? Because I was working in Manhattan. I would get off of work, I would go to the gym, and then I would, make a beeline back to Jersey. And
Yeah.
so if I didn't have anything else to do that evening, why would I not watch him? Because you were really just trying to make ends meet.
That's exactly what I was doing. And it was so funny because I even tell, I try to pay it forward. I have a lot of uh, extra children, as I say, a lot of young people that, nephews, nieces,
Yeah,
young people that I've met along the way. And I always say, I was poured into in such a special, major way as I was making and navigating through my life. So I
yeah,
feel like I pay that forward. I don't, I don't know. I guess just, it comes natural for me to be able to do that, and I feel honored to be able to share. Now, sometimes folks don't want to hear and whatnot till they done bump their head and the blood is
right, right,
down, and I got a
right.
hand on the towel. But at the end of the day, I feel honored to be able to give that back, that which was given to me. Because I'm telling you, I feel like not my mother and father, I mean, extended family, grandparents, extended family, aunts and uncles, type thing that I feel helped shape me. And to be able to receive that kind of love and not be able to just, like I said, even in a kind word or even in the work that I'm doing, I have a client now that's a new baby that's been, just working on just making sure, that eating the right things to the right amount of milk, for him, and as he's getting older and as his appetite's going to increase, kind of guide for that. And it's a joy to be able to share that sort of information from my experience with someone who's really truly eager to learn. So it's all I.
That's awesome. But you have grown into what I saw for you in the future. How about that? You are what I saw at that time now. If that makes any sense. Don't start crying.
I'm not going. I'm gonna try not to, but that was a
Oh,
punch. Okay, I'm not gonna be a water bucket. I'm gonna
all
control
right.
myself. I'm
Um, we had I think Samantha from Tennessee wanted to know uh, what else was planned for 2023 in regards to events. And so, Samantha, I'm going to tell you that um, so much of my days and nights have been consumed with the Women's Empowerment Conference that I don't have a set list of workshops yet. However, one of my mentors said to me, "Get over it. The conference is done." And I was like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean done? No, it's not. No, it's not." She said, "You have all of the right people in the right places. You have got to let go." And I have, because I can't do everything. I can't be everything to everybody. So I know, I know. She said, "Just let the chips fall as they may. You are done. The conference is over. The conference is a success. You need to figure out what's next." And
absolutely.
I'm talking, she said, for year
I feel like
2024. Huh?
I was about to say, who said that? I was about to blurt out a name, but I'm gonna leave you because if you would have mentioned it if you felt inclined. But thank you, mentor, that said that because I think the same um, vibration that I was on when I mentioned it
Yeah.
when we did because we had a very it was to me a very whirlwind year from December 2021 to December 2022
Yeah.
specifically, and the first thing that came to my spirit was women's empowerment conference. So and as I'm saying this, any vendors, definitely please reach out because that's going to be the fun part too. One of the many fun parts are all of the businesses that will be represented, all of the speakers, the swag bags.
Swag
We're,
bags.
we're going to have a great time. We're
We
definitely.
are. We are. And we have fantastic panelists who will be in the building to share their stories about how they got unstuck. Okay. And so I look forward to that. Shout out to all of my panelists. Shout
Yes,
out to all of the vendors who have signed up already. Shout out
yes,
to all of my family members who are playing a part in this
yes,
behind the scenes. Okay.
yes.
Shout out to all of my family members. Shout out to my friends. Shout out to everyone in the D. Shout out to all of the UAW workers. Shout out to all the union workers in Detroit. We
Absolutely.
appreciate we love in the tri-state. We appreciate you. We love you. We can't wait to see you. We are touching down to honor you. We are touching down to honor the
Absolutely.
wonderful, fantastic people, the residents of the D. I am a resident of the D. Yes, I mean, I know I'm a resident here, but
No, no,
still,
no, no, no. But that's your
still.
home state and
Oh,
your home,
very much so.
no
Very
matter
much so.
go.
No matter
Children.
where I go, I represent. Right. And so we are going home to not only show up, but we are going to show out. Be ready. Tickets. You can purchase your tickets on Eventbrite.
Yes, they
Um, the look for the Women's Empowerment Conference or third annual Empowerment Conference. Look for that on Eventbrite. If you guys have any questions, you are more than welcome to send an email to I I'm my sister, SISTA, keeper, the number 2 at gmail.com. Tickets will not be sold at the venue. Tickets will not be sold at the door. You have got to purchase your tickets through Eventbrite. And then those that purchase their tickets will receive an e-ticket. There will be registration at the entrance to the venue. Once you register, you will be given a lanyard and you will be escorted to your seats. The conference will promptly start at 11:30. We will be in the building.
absolutely.
Purchase your tickets early. Any ticket purchased after June the 30th, the price will increase. But if you go to the Eventbrite page, all of the needed or necessary information is there. So listen, any parting words, Empress?
I just want to say thank you as always for having me come on.
Mhm.
I all of you on my Sister Keepers podcast viewers keep making those intentional steps toward wellness. Like she said, celebrate the small wins, set small achievable goals. You can do it. And again, celebrate the fact that you have come to
Celebrate.
revelation that you want to change something in your life. That is big in and of itself.
Yep. So we love you guys. We'll be back on soon. Thank you so much for your patience. I know we've been away for a while, but just because we're not here, it doesn't mean that we're not working and we're not trying to put together something that will not only nourish your mind, but your soul as well. We love you. Bye.